All right, guys, you got Will Lambert here. I am here with Paula Travis, qualifying broker of Masters Realty and Keller Williams in Santa Fe. How you doing, Paula?
Good. It's good to be here with you, Will.
Yeah. I've been thinking about all day today, about talking with you, and I'm super excited. We go far back, all the way back to real estate school, and it's just amazing where we're at, you know.
We've come a long way.
We've come a long way. So I'm super excited today. We're going to talk about, correct me if I'm wrong, some overlooked items that happen in a transaction that can really help your real estate business stay organized and
Mhm.
making sure that things are getting done appropriately, right?
Correct.
Awesome. So where are you going to start? Where are you going to start with us today?
The first thing I'm going to start with, which I think is probably the easiest thing to do, but can make it very difficult in the long run, is to make sure that when you are sending an email, that you put the address in the subject line. There are a lot of times where another broker might be looking for something, you're looking for something, your transaction coordinator is looking for something, and it's very difficult if you don't know what you're looking for. And
Yeah,
so always having that address really is helpful, even for a client that may down the road say, hey, oh, by the way, I
right.
don't remember getting a copy of this. Can you send me, and it's like you spend time searching for stuff. So a really
Sure.
easy thing to do is to put the address in the subject line.
It seems so simple, yet rarely done, it seems like.
Yeah,
Yeah. Are you
definitely.
putting in there so it would be like the subject line, 123 Main Street, and then maybe inspection report, or are you clarifying it that way as well?
I tend to do that. But I mean, depending on the time that you have, but I
Mhm.
think that's easier, especially for organization.
Yeah.
Um, but
And not just putting update and sending it out to everybody.
or
Nobody has
just
to see
saying inspection report and
it.
sending it.
Well,
And
maybe
it's
it could be the only one, right? I mean, unless you have
like,
more deals going, right? I guess.
that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's hope it's not the only one.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Hope you're confused. Hope you're getting confused.
Yeah.
Okay, so subject line, that makes complete sense. And
Yes.
it's something that I've been trying to work on myself. So
And me too. Me too. Once I started thinking about this, I really, because sometimes I would just put, or I would shorten like Vegas Fair Day, maybe put VV, and
yes. Oh
you
no, don't
know,
do that. And then Vegas Faraday, I don't even know how many are in there, but more than one, I imagine.
exactly. And so, or unit numbers.
Right.
Again, going back to like Vegas Fair Day, it's when you're searching for something, it really makes a difference in the long run. So.
Okay. Well, I like that one. All right, let's go. Let's shoot me with another one.
All right. So another one that happens to come up a lot is regarding information documents and probably compliance issues.
Okay.
Um, so the best thing is to set yourself up with a package of these are your listing documents, these are your buyer's documents. What happens is when you need the other party to sign, you've submitted everything to compliance, and guess what? Comes back and said, hey, we need to have the seller's initials on this particular, let's say, septic information form.
Okay.
And um, the sellers are long gone.
You're done.
And so,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know, you're stuck scrambling around trying to get your QB to sign off on something that really could have been preventable in the very beginning.
Sure.
So,
If
so
you're
making sure that information documents are all signed up front, and then you don't have to worry about it at the end.
So every brokerage requires something different, right? Of
Right.
information sheets or what they require for compliance. So be aware of what that is and make sure you get those up front because once the deal closes, people are done signing stuff and it's really hard to get a hold of them.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. I like that one a lot. Considering I go through a lot of compliance docs. So yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yes.
Number three today. What we got?
Number three of the most overlooked items, at least in my little world, is making sure that signed amendments and addendums get to the title company and the lender. And I certainly am someone who is really bad at that. So
Yeah.
I'll admit it.
That's
So I'm
tough.
working on that one too, but it does happen. You get that signed amendment and it's like, yay, we got it signed. And then you get to the end and say, oh, wait, wasn't there the title company saying, hey, I thought there was a price reduction or a name change. Um, and so, it's just good practice to get all of that stuff to them
Sure.
as
And
soon
then
as it's signed.
yeah, because otherwise
Yeah,
everyone's scrambling at the end, and hopefully
right.
you listed the emails with those amendments in order with the name of the address, right? So you
That's
can actually
right.
find
So
them
you can
whenever you
find them
send them.
quickly.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. That ties in pretty good.
Yeah. But it seems to be like the lender, title company usually gets what they need, but the lender, it really gets missed a lot. And so making sure that the lender gets what they need is very important, especially for your buyer.
Sure, sure. Okay. Okay. Number four?
Number four is something that every broker is responsible for, and that's making sure that your client has signed copies of all the documents at the end of the transaction.
Mm,
And there can be different ways of doing that, whether it's sending PDFs, it's whether you save it to a flash drive. Um, I'm sure there's 100 other ways. You make hard copies of everything, but as a broker, we are required to make sure that they do get copies.
of
And
everything they sign, right?
and I think again, people get excited. We're at the closing, and
Yeah,
yay, we're
we're
done.
done. Yeah, it's all over.
And it's all over.
Right.
And so and you may think that, oh well, I have copies of everything for myself too, but um whether maybe you just copy them each time something gets signed, maybe that's
Right.
easier for you to do as well. But certainly I think it is an overlooked item that happens often. And so
Sure.
um, something that isn't hard to do, especially a transaction coordinator, and just say, hey, make this part of the list that my client gets a copy of everything at the end of every transaction.
Yeah.
And that way you don't have to
Good
worry
way of
about
doing
it.
it. Yeah. And I would imagine you can just create a Google Drive file too at the very end, right? And just
Yeah.
have everything in there and send that out as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, cool. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's one to keep aware of for sure is making sure. I mean, it's hard enough keeping track of all the documents anyway, right? I mean,
Right.
they're going to have some bits and pieces of what they've signed, but not fully executed and things like that, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Exactly.
Cool. What else you got for us
All
today?
right, number five. And this one it comes up quite frequently. And it may not be such a I don't want to say a big deal, that it might not be an issue, maybe if you're working specifically in the Albuquerque area, somewhere in the city, but utilities.
Mm,
And not only reminding your seller or your buyer to change them out of their names, but understanding, especially if you have a buyer, what are the utility companies. Let's say you've got somebody out in Lamy. Do you know who who handles trash pickup, who handles the water? Same thing. I know, even like out in El Dorado, it's a little bit different than it is here in town.
right.
Or if you have someone, in Rancho Viejo, and in some instances, the title company transfers water, not always. So
Right.
making sure that you understand specifically, and get those up front. If you're representing the buyer, check with the seller's broker from the very beginning and say, I want to prepare my buyers for transferring the utilities over. Who are the companies?
Sure.
And but it seems that after things have been closed, I've had clients that are searching for the appropriate companies.
because they're like
And I
Scott
don't know,
Turner.
I don't know them, I mean, and like I said, every area seems to be a little bit different the way it's handled. And so
Hmm.
having that information, educating yourself from the very beginning, I think it's very helpful. It makes it easier for your buyer to, where they're going into the property to know that, hey, all my utilities are on.
Yeah.
And not moving in over the weekend and finding out that they don't have any electric because the seller shut it off on Friday. So,
Yeah, I definitely see it more on the buyer end.
yes,
The sellers are ready to cut off their utilities, and this is
yep,
the date we close, and they're going to be cut off.
that's right.
Yeah, so running out of power is not a good thing on day one of your new home.
No, it isn't. And it's not an easy thing. Or, maybe it is easier with electric water, though. I'm not sure on the weekends whether or not you could get water service if it's been turned
Right.
off. So, again, some of the title companies take care of that, the water transfer, but not all areas are they able to do that for. So
Yeah.
that was just something that I think gets overlooked is you think you're closed and you're done, and here you get a phone call from your
Blowing up
buyer
on a
on a
Sunday.
Sunday afternoon.
And heaven forbid, the Browns are playing football and
Exactly.
you got to deal with a water issue. Yeah, we don't want
That's
that
right.
to happen.
Uh,
Well, hey, it is great hanging out with you, Paul. I really appreciate it. Go Texans, by the way, this year. And um, yeah, hopefully we can win a game or something. So, but great hanging out with you, Paul. I'm super excited for you, and everything seems to be going great. I see you got a stack of files behind you, so everything must be going really great. So
Things are good.
yeah,
Yes.
good.
Business is good. It's great. I'm happy for all the brokers out there that are doing so well.
Uh,
So,
all right.
and I
Well,
hope
thanks,
our little
Paula. Have
tips
a
helped a little bit.
what's that?
I said I hope our tips helped a little bit, and anybody
Yeah,
watching, if they want to add comments of their, what they feel like are some overlooked items that can benefit us all, I think it's,
yeah,
much
huge.
appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always looking for ways to be better. So yeah, don't hesitate to reach out, comment, or something like that on tips or tricks, right? To be better at real estate.
Absolutely.
That's for sure. All right.
Yes.
Well, hey, thanks so much, Paula, and hey, have a good weekend. It's Friday, everybody. In case you didn't know it, have a good weekend, and we'll see you later on.